this person is there's no reason to slug ginger beer.
Mm-hmm.
What reason? Ginger beer is for sipping.
It is. And I'll say this. I have more respect for a guy who can slam ginger beer all night than a guy who slams whiskey. Because after your third or fourth whiskey, you go numb to it.
Yeah.
Ginger beer is not, you're feeling the full effect every shot.
There's no numbness to ginger beer.
No.
I mean, your stomach's going to feel, can too much ginger beer can help your stomach, but can too much ginger beer hurt your stomach?
So here's what we're going to do, Mark.
Yeah. We're going to slug some ginger beer.
On our next podcast,
yeah,
we're going to come up with a drinking style game. Because it won't be a drinking game, but it'll be a drinking style game. Where whenever something happens, whenever we make a reference, whenever we go on a bunny trail, whenever something happens, we got to take a shot of ginger beer.
I like it.
And we'll just see how that affects the pod. Basically,
Kurt Russell, and then you and I going off on a tangent, which would be constant. Also, yes. I got to say, everyone listening, you should definitely check out our Peter Rabbit pod because people have really been enjoying it because it's an hour and 50-minute Knightriders-esque slog through Peter Rabbit, but we cover some ground. It's great.
We go deep cut Peter Rabbit.
You know that walking movie? It's The Way Back with Colin Farrell and Saoirse Ronan where they just walk?
Yep.
We cover more ground than they do, and they walk for years.
Exactly.
But in a good way.
Someone suggested I should watch that movie, and so I ended up watching The Way Back with Steve Carell.
Oh, love that movie.
And I was like, this movie is brilliant.
Brilliant. And so in that movie, right, Allison Janney is supposedly the worst parent. But if you think about it, Toni Collette and Steve Carell, and I love that abusive thing he says, we're in this together, but they're obviously not. It's a way of control. This movie's very layered. But there's a scene where Allison Janney is drunk. And, she's annoyed that her husband left her for somebody else. And she is just sauced. But she knows where each and every one of her children are. So she's out there, but she knows her kid's under a table. She tells her other kid to stop dead dancing near the fire and to move back. And she knows that the daughter's sulking somewhere else. So this is a woman who, she knows who she is. She's gone through some tough times, but she still knows exactly where all her kids are.
Yeah, and the big laugh with her character in that, and her son is like, which eye? Come on. Like he's got that lazy eye. So he's like, I don't know which one to look at. But we've all been in the situation where we're like silently thinking like, which one do I look at? Like and she just calls it. She just says like, no, look at me with focus. It's amazing.
She's very, and Sam Rockwell was so good in that movie. I love when Sam Rockwell kind of bowed up to Carell, but Carell was really intimidating in that movie. He
played a stone cold psychopath in that movie.
Yeah, he is not. And that dialogue that he uses with "We're in this together." Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then Amanda Peet, she's very likable. I remember her in Whole Nine Yards being very likable, but in this one she is. And I also like that she's with the guy from Hot Tub Time Machine, who's very funny, who I like a lot. But he in that movie knows that Amanda Peet is not being honest with him in the relationship. And so he just kind of drinks it away and holds it in. It's a very layered movie. Megan loves it.
No, it's one of our go-to summertime movies.
So good.
So every summer I do like a junior high camp, and so we do like a week of like we meet the church, we do stuff, and then in the afternoon we go and do events. And so the Friday is always we go to this water park called Wet and Wild, which is like from 1970s. It's exactly the water park from that movie. Wow. And so the Thursday night before, I always watch that movie every year.
Rob Corddry.
Yes.
Man, what a good movie.
Oh, dynamite.
It kind of has the same vibe as Knightriders in that it's very relaxed and it's kind of naturalistic. And the characters, I remember the characters in this movie's name. Yeah. Does that make sense? So a movie's good when you remember the characters' names. Because how many movies have you walked out of and, it was a good Tom Cruise movie?
Yeah, I like when Die Hard jumped out the window.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But this movie, I don't know. I just remember the names, which is, I don't know, it has the same laid back kind of chill. Also, I like the way they use Pittsburgh in this movie in Knightriders. And then I liked in The Way Back how they use that location. I mean, it wasn't glorified. It was nice. Good movies. Good filmmakers.
The moment where I hated Steve Carell in The Way Back, because he's coming off The Office where you're like you're irritated with him, but you love him, was when he says, what would you give yourself out of 10?
Oh, gosh.
right? And you just hate him in that moment.
And he's in his head, he thinks he's being helpful. And that's based on and Jim Rash, his stepdad, said that to him in the real world.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good.
That bothers me.
You want to hear something interesting about Knightriders?
I want to hear all the interesting things about Knightriders.
They made a joke saying that the first cut was 37 hours.
But isn't there like a European cut that's like an hour and 2 minutes, or
102 minutes? Yeah, so like an hour and 42.
Yeah,
so
they really cut
probably
it back.
38 with credit. I mean, this movie could be an hour and 38. It wouldn't work
like
as well.
It legit ends 3 times. There's a moment where you're like, oh, and I remember saying, like, if it ended here, I'd be satisfied. It makes sense that loose ends are tied up, and then it just keeps going.
Yeah. I mean, you have that scene, like, there's some scenes I like the character building, but you have Angie and Pippin, and in there, they're like, oh, no one wants to stoop the grease lady, and I'd rather do, like, it's a weird, there's some very moments that probably could have been edited out, but I still like, for me, I like them. But I guess I'm a bad executive. I'm a studio exec, and I'm thinking money.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Bad News Bears, the original Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Love it.
But when I watch it, it feels more to me like a documentary than it does a movie. I feel like I'm actually, like, it's so natural. Those kids are being kids that it feels like you're watching like a snapshot of that era more than a movie about a baseball team.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I feel very much that with this movie, that I'm watching a snapshot of an era of people doing what they love more than I'm watching a coherent first act, second act, third act movie.
And some of my favorite films are when this happens. So Linklater's great at this. I love Before Sunrise. I love Dazed and Confused.
Yep.
Recently, Everybody Wants Some, which is probably Megan's Demise. We've watched that more than any other movie recently. I think it's very hard to capture that naturalistic snapshot vibe. Because if you miss, it's just kind of soul crushing.
It misses very, very badly.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, maybe this movie needed to be that long, so you just rest in the atmosphere.
It could be. You just need to get, again, used to the hot tub, is what I like to say.
Get used to my foot's in the hot tub. Hot Tub Time Machine. I love that movie. Also, I want to talk to you about something. That pizza scene where Friar Tuck and the lady. That is the grossest pizza. I stopped it and I looked at that pizza, and it looks like it just fell off of Pizza the Hut, and they smeared some weird stuff on it. And that's one of the weirdest scenes.
How happy for Little John are you, though? Like, those two people, as gross as that is, look like they've never been happier.
Oh, they love life. And when they're in the pool together, when they're at Jurassic Park's pool,
yep,
they're loving. I mean, they seem like they like each other. This couple, they have a good relationship, but it seems fueled more on highs than on lows.
But that's the sequel I want to see, Littler John, when those two have a kid.
So there's a movie called. Did I tell you about the movie called Safe Men with Sam Rockwell, Steve Zahn, Paul Giamatti? Where Mark Ruffalo, but there's a mobster named Big Fat Bernie, and they call his kid Little Big Fat.
Little Big Fat.
So Little Big John.
That sounds like the name of like an underage rapper.
Yeah, Little Big Fat.
Little Big Fat.
I mean, he does rap. Never mind. But that pizza though, dude. That pizza is days old.
It is revolting. And this whole little group of people has no problem with like intimacy boundaries, I'll say. I mean, they're just like walking in at each other, and like instead of being like, "Oh, sorry," and leaving, they're like having full conversations. Like, it's nuts.
Can there be boundaries?
I don't think in a community like this.
Because there's just tents, right? And they kind of sleep in their cars.
Mm-hmm.
Did we ever see the whole convoy?
I don't think so. I think it's too big to see the whole convoy.
How many people are working in this event?
I would say there's 120 people working in this event, with drivers, setup crew, teardown crew, talent, in-ring, out-of-ring talent, the midway workers. I'd say it's 120 people altogether. Plus like the riffraff, the ones who just kind of like tag along and play the tambourine. I'd say that the whole community is 120 people.
How many people come to the show?
I would say on a good day, 65, 70 people come to the show.
What is tickets? What an 81?
An 81, I would say $2 a person or $5 a family.
Right. So let's say, even on a good day, they do 100. So they make $200, right?
Right.
That could be gas, I guess, to the next town. Then you have, well, actually, end of the 70s, 80s, gas prices were insane.
Yes.
So that's
And
not good.
And they're not selling a lot of merch like you would at like a wrestling event. Because remember when Ed Harris sees his picture in that magazine, he's like, "Oh, interview!" Like he's angry, he's famous.
Their business model's bad because they allow people to bring beer.
Yeah, but if they sold beer there, if they sold T-shirts, if they sold, action figures of the motorcycles, they could make money hand over fist. But they're not doing that.
Yeah. So this is not a sustainable model.
I'm telling you, if they got a Chinese toy supplier to make small die-cast dirt bikes, and they sold them for $4 a piece, not one kid would leave there without begging their parents for a motorcycle toy.
Now, if you knew about these events, do you think more than 100 people would go to these shows? Because these are, this would be not, if I was a kid and I saw this show, my mind would be blown.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think in 2019 this is a marketable show.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So I think that their promotion needs to get better. That's what they need to send someone ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time, put posters up, and get the word out there in 1981 viral marketing. But like newspaper ad, local television, local radio, get those going, and then you can get some people coming.
Now this show is hemorrhaging money. So could we posit a theory that Ed Harris, right? Because he seems to have never wanted for anything. And he doesn't know prices.
I know where you're going.
Could he be coming from a very wealthy family? Like he was a trust fund guy and he just broke away from that and he's relying on that money?
Have you ever had somebody who's independently wealthy give you financial advice?
No.
It's the most frustrating thing you've ever experienced in your life.
Put your money in a pillowcase.
Yeah, well, they're just like, well, if you're better with your money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you have money. You know what I mean? It's like this is something that's foreign to you. So what are you really getting at? So I feel like Ed Harris is definitely that guy. He doesn't work on the same plane of reality as everybody else.
And the money he's probably losing. I bet you his parents' accountant is just losing his mind about how much this show is losing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. 100%.
All right, good. I'm glad.
And I also feel like he's also got he goes to jail pretty willy nilly. He's like, no, just take me. Don't take I think he knows in his back pockets he's always got a hey mom, can you come pick me up from the slammer card?
Yeah, he's always got a hey mom.
Yeah, he's always got a hey mom.
Man, I like Morgan more and more.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. When we first started doing this podcast, I was like, Billy's this anti-hero, hurt Scott. But now I'm like Morgan. I want to get a Morgan T-shirt, wave the Morgan flag. I'm going to go apologize to Tom Savini for ever offending him because of Morgan is my friend.
Yeah, he is. I want to get a bumper. So the only bumper sticker I've ever put on one of my cars was Johnny Cash is my friend. I want to get Morgan as my friend.
Oh, nice.
Because you're right. He has the hero's journey.
Yeah, 100%. Wow.
He's the Lion King.
He is the Lion King.
Brother.
You know what? He's the rightful king is what he is. He should have, you know what I mean? It was a no holds barred situation going on there.
I do love in the beginning with that mace. They spent 30 minutes. Not really. But hey, should I use this mace? Well, we're using plastic. This thing has some heft and it has its own trajectory. Don't use it. And then he goes to somebody else. Hey, should I use it?
Right. Because I think he knew that this was the way to dethrone the king.
But then he says, once Alan says to him, do not use it. Morgan's like, yeah, I get it. And then Dum Dum Billy shows up, doesn't care about the middleman or management, just says, yeah, use it.
Because he's got his hey mom.
Yeah, and then Morgan's like, okay, sure, I'm not listening to Alan. So you and the head boss undermines their, so you have three tiers, right? You have the head boss, the CEO, and then you have the president, right?
Yeah.
But if the CEO undermines the president all the time, the staff won't listen to the president because they know they can go to the CEO.
Exactly.
So Alan is essentially, his position is made moot, even though a lot of the stuff he says is truth.
Exactly. Yep. But you need to be on the same page. Otherwise, people will get around it. I don't know if I've told you this, but I have 3 movies on my computer at all times in case I need to watch a movie. And those 3 movies.
Yeah. I thought you had 3 screens. So the immediate thing that popped up in my head is you just have 3 flat screens in front of you at all times.
Just no, it's 3 movies